Beep, 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 beep. Morning. Right, okay. If you can subscribe to my Substack, that would be great. If you want to become a warrior teacher, advertising is now going out about the Wednesday morning one, which is specifically to try and get people who are in other countries involved so that they can become part of the program, which would be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that happening. Yeah, you'll see lots of advertising going up. So click the subscribe button. Go and subscribe to my Substack. You can buy me a coffee, usual stuff, right? Here's a couple of interesting things, right? Here's a couple of interesting things. Now, I am of the feeling, he says, I am of the feeling, right, that different countries in the West that are dealing with this are at different places in their journey. I don't like that word journey anymore because they use it. I'm on my journey of joy. I don't want to hear about that, right? But, we know sort of people go through a process, don't they? As they gradually understand what's going on and then go, hang on, put the brakes on. So it's interesting because I think Australia's behind us. I think it's ahead of us in the garbage, but I think it's behind us in catching up. And this doesn't help, right? So I'm going to give you a piece today from Australia, and then some news from Australia, and then some news from the UK, which I think is very good, very good. Right, so let's do the Australian one first, and I'll do the UK one. Right, Victorian Greens, right? This is from something called The Age. Victorian Greens expand party's definition of transphobia. And it says, this will split us, in, the old speech marks. A newly expanded definition of transphobia is threatening to reopen divisions within the Victorian Greens after a senior member accused the party's leadership of stifling free speech with its revamped code of conduct. Now, as you know, free speech is sacrosanct, and these people don't seem to get that. So others have welcomed the updated policy. I'm so glad this policy has moved more towards an authoritarian, totalitarian dictatorship, and I'm proud to be a member of the Greens. I'm convinced the Greens, on the whole, are nuts. Sorry, there's some great people in the Greens. I've met them and they've been doing really good things. And they've been involved in this and trying to stop it from happening. But I think it's over. Right? I think they're mad. Right? And it's just showing in this globally that they're insane. Others have welcomed the updated policy, which was passed by the party's State Council last week, arguing the Greens now have the strongest anti-discrimination safeguards of any political party in Victoria for transgender members. The Victorian Greens now define transphobia, here we go, right, as the vilification of trans people, intentionally misgendering people individually or as a group, denying that non-binary genders exist, or promoting the unnecessary prioritisation of sex characteristics of both gender. Yeah, nothing authoritarian about that at all. It's the anti-racism of cross-dressing. The party's new rules also state that advocating for unnecessary restriction on transition care and asking leading questions that cover for doing one of the above can constitute transphobia. So you're no longer allowed to speak about it at all. That's what they're saying, right? That's what they're saying. This is the Greens in Australia. What? The Code of Conduct was passed by the party's 15-member State Council later last week and follows the resignation of Ballarat Greens activist Helen Lewers, who attended the Let Women Speak rally, which was organised by anti-trans activists. Well, it wasn't anti-trans activists, it was pro-women. And that was on the steps of the State Parliament. We all know about this. Members can face expulsion if they are found to have breached the party's Code of Conduct. Can you imagine what these authoritarian, wicked people would do if they ever got any power? Oh, you don't have to. Just have a look at Canada. A member of the Victorian Greens who holds a senior position was speaking on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorised to discuss internal party matters. Some transparency would be nice, wouldn't it, Chris in Australia? Said, the new Code of Conduct went too far. The old code already prohibited vilification, harassment and misgendering, blah, 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 blah. The party member said, now you won't even be able to ask questions about or propose changes to our policy without threat of expulsion. One way or another, this will split us. The member went on to accuse MPs, including Victorian Greens leader Samantha Ratnam, of trying to cleanse the party of dissent. They've declared war. They are not interested in freedom of expression, facts or science. They've declared war on half the membership. Yes, this is what it's all about. They are not interested in freedom of expression, facts or science. They've declared war on half the planet. Ding! It's like a light bulb moment there, see? However, another Greens member, also speaking on the condition of anonymity, stressed the expanded definition of transphobia was about giving the party the appropriate tools to grapple with important issues rather than predetermine an outcome. If a member thought another member was repeatedly asking transphobic and leading questions, they could make a complaint which would be dealt with by a misconduct panel. The panel will consider the evidence provided by the respondent before making a finding. Remember, the process is the punishment. This is totalitarianism. The member added that in the past, trans-exclusionary feminists, who often prefer to be called gender-critical feminists, have used official Greens meetings to question, among other things, whether men can give birth. They're nuts, right? Crackers, okay? This is Australia. So it says the State Council hopes the new rule will steer members away from potentially inflammatory statements and towards policy-focused questions. For example, instead of asking whether men can give birth, asking what could be done to improve postnatal care for women and LGBTQ plus people. They are sick. These are sick people. Right? They're mentally ill. That's what happens, see, when you close all the asylums. Greens LGBTQ plus spokesperson Gabrielle de Vietri said the new code of conduct would protect serious debate while ensuring unsubstantiated questions aren't weaponised against gender diverse people. The truth isn't weaponised. This is literally anti-truth. In Australia in 2023. What can you even say to it? Respectful debate, which is grounded in evidence, is crucial to policy development and will always be welcomed in the Greens. They are the opposite of what they say they are. I keep saying this, right? That's obfuscation, lying. Leading questions, on the other hand, are a highly effective tactic that bigots can use to fearmonger and to mislead people about complicated issues. There's no complicated issue here. They complicate the simplistic and simplify the complicated. It's what they do. This is pure queer theory and gender identity ideology playing out in the Greens in Australia. It's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. So that's the first thing for today. Let's move on from that, because we've got like madness in Oz, right? So we're going back now to this side of the globe. Us. What's going on with us then? What have we got that's going on with us that's worth having a bit of a chat about? Well, we have some good news. And I would like to share this good news with you. Because, good news helps us too, doesn't it? I would like to share the good work of the crew, Malcolm, Bev, except, all the good folk over at LGBAlliance, right? Who weathered all storms, worked incredibly hard to keep things going. And I was most pleased to read this. And I think you will be pleased too, in that LGBAlliance have announced that they have established a network of lesbian, gay and bisexual students across the UK. Now, anybody who's watched me talk before, Bev will know this, I'm sure, and Malcolm. I'm not a fan of affinity groups, right? I don't think they should exist at all. But in the absence of being able to get rid of them all, you've got to have your own, because that's how it works, isn't it? Right? So LGBAlliance have established a network of lesbian, gay and bisexual students across the UK. This is a new initiative we hope will help students to connect, to make new friends, build a supportive community and celebrate everything that's fun and joyous about being LGB. So it's a group based around sexuality, all right? If you're interested in becoming involved with our confidential students network, or you would like to find out more, please email us. And they've then provided the email. Links are in the doobries as usual, right? They also are proud to announce, we have networks established in the following universities. This is glorious. This is glorious. This is putting it up the way we should. To begin with, the University of Edinburgh, which is the woke central of Scotland, which is Scotland's gone insane anyway, isn't it? Hey, mad. They're all mad. Right? What's the next one? The University of Oxford. Oh, how glorious. The University of Oxford, Only the other day we're moaning about Kathleen. It's like, yeah, get the bin, you lot, right? The University of Hull. Come on, Hull. You can do it. And also the University of London City, right? University of London. Fantastic. Because they've always been a bit mad, haven't they? And then finally, just to begin with, the University of Central Lancashire. Well, my congratulations to the team over at LGBAlliance for achieving this, what is a milestone in the fight against critical social justice. And what we are seeing now is the formation of what will be a grassroots movement to attack what is not a grassroots movement, but in fact a top-down incursion involving lots of people with lots of money and lots of weird beliefs. It couldn't be better, could it? Let's keep going. This is great news. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 universities. Some of them the biggest in the country, and one of them, or two of them at least, are renowned around the world. Keep going, folks. We just have to keep going. This is the kind of news you get, that little bit of news, and you're like, yeah, here we go. Yep, this is very important. Don't underestimate it, because that means there's a younger generation that are listening to old farts like me who get it. We will end the TQ plus nonsense. It just might take a bit of time. So one person at a time, as I tell my warrior teachers, one person at a time. You don't have to make them think you're right. You just have to make them think they might be wrong. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.